Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting in Quarantine. My name is Dabney and I'm the young adult librarian at the Twin Lakes Library System and I use they them pronouns. Today we are going to be making some bleach crafts. So safety first, if you're using bleach, I'm not modeling correct safety procedures, so I'll go ahead and apologize for that. But when you're using bleach, you need to be wearing gloves. They suggest that you wear protective eye gear and that you have like a well ventilated space. Also, when you're done, working with bleach, even if you're wearing gloves, be sure to like wash up really well and try not to get it on your skin. So, maybe wear long sleeves. Also, when you're wearing bleach, protect the surfaces you're working on. Again, I'm not modeling the best behavior, but put down like some plastic, like plastic bags or some cardboard. That way you don't get bleach on your surface. So I looked online at a bunch of different tutorials of things you can do, and I've also done bleach crafts in the past. So on the most simple crafts, all you would need really is some bleach. I didn't have any, so my friend down the street, before all this started and we got quarantined, she gave me some bleach to use. So that's why it's not in a nice bleach container. Other things you could use, bleach pens. I've used these for making bleach t-shirts and they work really well. You want to make sure that you're working on colored fabric, so you get it for whites. And I think the first time I did this, I got bleach pens to work on colored fabric and I was like, why is it not bleaching? Yeah, that's why. So there's also a recipe for how you can make your own bleach pen. So that's going to be in this article I'm linking with a bunch of different crafts you could try. I'm not going to be using this in today's craft, but I'll show you. I do like it because the tip gives you good control when you're doing like detailed work. And when I'm teaching this at the library, we've done bleach t-shirts before, I'm like, you don't squeeze it hard, you just squeeze it, a little bit at a time, because with bleach, less is more. It's easy to mess up. And I think my live recording just got lost. Another thing, bleach pens have this other end too. So this is like if you're trying to fill in a lot of area, this is a good thing to use for that. So you can just squeeze it and kind of bleach out large areas of fabric. And this is really good as well. So this kind of bleach with like the sprayer, I would suggest if you were doing a stencil craft. So like if you had cut out a stencil of like a shape, so you cut out your shape, you lay that down on a t-shirt and you spray this over it, so then when you take your shape off, it's bleached around your shape. So I've done that kind. I've also done stencils that has like the shape cut out, where you're like filling in the stencil, and that's where like these, hey guys on Instagram Live, I'm back. If you're filling in a stencil, you would want to probably use the tip of your bleach pen. But if you're doing the opposite kind of stencil and you cut out your shape and put it on your shirt, that's when you'd want to have this to spray. Again, you could find workarounds for this if all you're working with is just, a bucket of bleach. So we're going to get to that in a second because that's what I'm going to be working with. And the other thing you need for your craft is some old shirt or pants or shoes or, whatever that you're gonna bleach. So for this, I have a very old pair of Walmart slip-ons that have holes in the toes, and so like I just wear these to like knock around. But this one I kind of started working on earlier. My inspiration was I used to have like this pair of Vans slip-ons that had koi fish on them, so they were black and the koi fish was done in white, and it was really, really cool. I think this is when I was in high school, and I wore those things to death. I wore them to death and beyond, and they were great. And you can't find them now online. Like, you can see pictures of them, but they're gone. So, anyways, I tried to start out doing a koi fish on this shoe. You can maybe see hints of it. The eye, the back, I had like a fin going on and some like scales, but it was just, yeah, like I said with bleach, less is more, and also try not to do like a detailed pattern as like your first attempt, because the bleach just like spreads really, really fast. So I'm going to show you in a minute how quickly bleach can bleach, basically. And also, if you've got your shirt or shoes or whatever decorated with bleach, you can wait and see like what color it turns. So when I first did this, it had more of like this color going on, which is so weird. Like, I thought it was gonna turn white, but instead it's like this kind of rusty red color. But here, on some of the places that I bleached first, it actually is turning white. So you can let that bleach set and do its thing, and then once you've got it to like the color or look you want, you're going to want to rinse off whatever you've been bleaching. Wash it out in the sink with like some soapy water, set it out to dry, and then, you can put it in the laundry with your regular clothes after that. So we're gonna get started on just decorating some and using some different tools to work with. So crafting in quarantine, you're kind of like the MacGyver of crafts, basically looking around your house and finding what you have and seeing how that's going to work. So you could use paintbrushes. Now, I did read that if, this is, I don't know what this paintbrush is made out of, but I did read that bleach kind of corrodes or degrades or dissolves something, the bristles, so they recommended using an acrylic, like brush with acrylic bristles, but yeah, I don't have, my Instagram live gave up the ghost, so whatever. I didn't have acrylic paintbrush at home, so I just have this, and I'm going to use it very briefly, and then rinse it out really good and hope that the bleach doesn't, damage it too much. Another thing I thought about is getting a toothpick, and on the one hand, you could dip the toothpick in the bleach, kind of like if back in the day you were dipping your pen, like your quill in ink and writing. You could do that. You can also get the other end of your toothpick, which FYI, this has not had any contact with bleach as of yet, and you could chew it, a little bit, and then this end is almost like a little bit of a brush now. So we're going to try that. One of the videos I saw used the end of a pencil. So you dip it in bleach, and then you can make nice, if your eraser is like flat, you can make nice, even polka dots. Mine isn't quite, it's a little bit chewed up, but all of this that I did was done with like this eraser. So as you can tell, it's not very good with detailed work because you kind of end up getting like a lot of bleach on the end of your eraser, and then it just sort of spreads out. And I will say, like, if you hate your design and you're like, this looks terrible, the nice thing is you could just apply bleach to all of it, and then you've got a pair of old shoes that are a strange color. It's definitely use, a shirt or clothing or shoes or whatever that you're not going to be mad if you mess it up, basically. And also ask for permission. I forgot to say that at the beginning when I talked about safety, but make sure it's okay with your parents that you are breaking out bleach and bleaching things. Alright, so we're gonna do a little bit here. And I'm not doing anything fancy. I just wanted to test how these different, materials work. So I got a little bleach on here, and I'm gonna do a mark. And you can see it's already turning like that red color. And I can already see that this is, I have more control with the brush than I did, obviously, with the pencil eraser. So, maybe with the other pair of shoes, I could try doing that koi fish. One thing I thought about was this wouldn't necessarily work on here, but, if you had something where like pencil would show up, you could, trace what you're going to do first in pencil and then go over that with the bleach. Again, stencils are a huge lifesaver if you're doing this. And you can make your own stencils. You could draw on a sheet of paper. I would say something thicker than paper, like a cereal box, or, probably a cereal box because cardboard's kind of hard to cut through. But, draw out what you want, cut it out, and then, use that as a stencil. So yeah, that looks way better than that. Alright, I'm going to try my toothpick. And, it's kind of like when you're painting, you dab off the excess bleach before you get started. So I'm going to brush this. This was the end I chewed on that I was like, I'm going to make a brush with this. And I think that, that has about the same amount of control. And I'm sorry, you guys are all seeing the bottom of my very old, dirty shoes. But I think that has the same amount of control, honestly, as the paintbrush. So yeah, be patient, take your time. Remember to maybe start with something simple. And also, I would say when you get started, test a part of the fabric first. So, if I was going to test this before I got started to see like how it would react with the fabric, I would have probably tested like the inside of the shoe where no one can see it, and then see how it looks, and then go from there. Like if you have a pair of pants, maybe like flip it inside out and maybe do like the bottom hem just a little bit and see how that works. Yeah, let's see. I'm not gonna do the pencil again because I've already shown you what that handiwork looks like. I'm gonna do the tip of the toothpick. And I think, you know, you have to dip your toothpick in a lot and it would take more time, but that's, they all kind of look about the same. I think, honestly, that the toothpick, gives you better detail than the paintbrush because, like, you can see some of the earlier paintbrush areas where there was, like, more bleach on the brush and it's kind of spreading out there. But yeah, that is kind of like an introduction to Bleach Crafts. I also was going to say you could use cotton swabs as another thing that you could bleach with. And yeah, now at this point, like whenever I finished my shoe, I would go wash it off and dry it. After this video is over, I'm going to wash my hands really, really good. But yeah, before I go, I was just going to say, we now have like all of our teen virtual programs up on YouTube, so I'm going to have a link to that in the video. And you can subscribe to our channel, and we've got all the videos into separate playlists for like Must Read Monday, Crafting in Quarantine, and Slice of Life. And then Friday at 3:30, Abby's going to do Slice of Life, and she's going to be talking to you about some feel-good TV shows, which I personally am excited for. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!